Today, let's travel to Gangnam, Seoul, South Korea to see how they make the best cheese sandwich ever. This is no ordinary deli. Each step is made with the freshest of ingredients right from scratch. A corner store, Wheat and Meat, is cooking up something good again, and the crowd gathers. Let's start with the bread dough. Sourdough or a wheat flour-based bread will work. It's up to the chef and the customer as to which type of bread they prefer. Use some ice to keep it hard and cold. Add some more flour and mix it round and round. This is the technique that will give the bread extra fluff or large holes when it's cooked. Pastrami. What is it exactly? You start with the meat brisket from the cow's navel area. Yes, cows have belly buttons, and they're located near the shoulder of their front legs. Cut the surface fat from this beef and section it so it's ready for the pastrami treatment. Into water, add whole black peppercorns, whole coriander, hot pepper, salt, mustard powder, garlic, ground clove, cinnamon, and sugar. Heat and whisk until all those spices complement each other in the seasoning sauce. In the meantime, fry up thinly sliced onions on a giant greased grill. You're gonna need lots of onions. Cool down the pastrami making sauce, strain, and let the meat cuts cure there for 5 to 7 days if refrigerated. Showing this was just their demo model. The unstrained portion, the mustard seeds, peppers, and coriander will be added after a few days as the entire brisket is rolled in it and before cooking. The gooey dough is ready too. On top of the onions, add some pastrami sauce as well. The onions will soak up the spices as the steam gets let out while they continue to grill. Wow, it must smell good in this kitchen. The dough slides out like silly putty. It is weighed and rolled around in some flour. Wanna guess what this will become? I'm betting on a roll. Play with it some more, roll it around, and wrap it in a burlap thin mesh burlap cloth, or what they call cheesecloth, and cover. Back to those golden brown onions. They sure did shrink once the water evaporated. After a few hours, the yeast in the dough has inflated it. A slit is made down the middle and it's ready to bake in the oven. It doesn't get any fresher than that. The meat has soaked up all those spices, which have also tenderized it. A few days earlier, it was rolled in the whole seeds. Let the meat simmer in the oven at 285 for an hour for this 1 kilogram or 2-pound brisket. Since this is technically a cold cut, it can also be refrigerated for a long time since it's been cured until it's ready to be sliced. Now that it's ready, use an electric slicer to cut just the right thickness. The bread is ready. It's not a roll, it's more like a fat baguette. Slice it thick and add cheddar cheese. Place it in rows on a low-heat skillet and let it toast as the cheese melts, flipping it so it's cooked evenly on both sides. The cheddar has melted into the nooks and crannies of the bread, saturating it. Now it's time to add the pastrami. Each slice of bread gets a hefty treatment of this peppery and tender deli cut. Typically, pastrami in American delis is served on rye bread, which has lots of large holes in it. But this Korean deli has a recipe for a thicker, softer bread, full of crevices to fill with the juices and sauces, but not as bitter or hard to chew as rye bread is. Homemade secret recipe coleslaw. Would you like to guess what it's made of? I'm thinking cabbage, basil, vinegar, mayonnaise, almost like a pesto, but I could be wrong. However, those ingredients sound like they would go great together. This is added to one side, followed by the secret mayonnaise-based tomato chili sauce, almost like a French dressing. To the top slice, add those delicious fried and flavorful soft onions. For the lunchtime crowd, cut in half and stack on top so you can see what's inside. For the final touch, cover the whole thing from top to dripping down to the bottom with fresh, melted hot American or cheddar cheese. This colossal sandwich plate with 4 halves goes for 14,800 won, or about $11.33, and can feed 2 or 1 very hungry person. A leftover box might be necessary. This is one sandwich that is hard to eat with your hands. But when the cheese cools a bit, it's worth the challenge. So go for it. What do you think napkins are for? This deli will be making hundreds of steak burgers with a special combination of fruits and vegetables in their bento boxes today. Make the sauce with potatoes, carrots, garlics, and pineapples, and throw them into the mega grinder. All comes out diced and ground. Each of these veggies contains enzymes that will tenderize the meat. The 300 kilograms of beefsteak has arrived to be put into the same grinder. Out it comes, ground up into strips, almost like dough. The sauce will be made of various spices. Lots of brown sauces are added. Clear, thick liquid, too. Add all this to the tub of meat with lots of eggs. The meat mixers make sure all is combined thoroughly. When it is ready, roll into balls and get ready to put it on an ungreased skillet to fry. Flame torch the outside. That looks like fun. For the sauce, grind up lots of veggies and mushrooms and fry up some of the ground beef. Add some brown stuff, stir, and add some red spice, onions, water, oil, and brown square chunks. Heat, and the sauce is done. Serve the meat in some salad with seeds on top or rice. Pour the sauce over or dip it. Now, how to make hundreds of waffle sandwiches. Make the waffle batter with eggs, flour, and milk. Mix it all together in a giant vat and stir with a spatula. Open up the spigot and fill many buckets with bags. Pour the mix into waffle irons and cook. Once the waffles are done, spread cream cheese and a combination of other ingredients like Nutella, chocolate, or ice cream. You then fold it in half like a sandwich and serve. The next restaurant specializes in ramen noodles. Start with a metal pot the size of a jacuzzi. Add shanks of meat, ribs, pig's feet, and other meat parts. Slice open some headless chickens and remove the giblets. Throw them into the bowl too. All of this is boiled together. Mix this with a paddle as it boils and add some white meat, whole garlic, then boil and simmer. Take a brisket of meat and slice it a bit. Roll it and tie a string around. After it is cooked, remove the string and slice. Mix some chicken breasts with garlic brown stuff and spices. Bag it and let it marinate in boiling water. Dice a tub full of onions and add to a skillet. In oil, heat it up. Put a hole in the top of the eggs and boil them in a strainer and ice them. Remove the shell and put them in a tub of brown liquid. By now the chicken breasts are partially cooked and sliced. Add a bag of flour to a mixer with yellow liquid. They may be egg whites with some yolk. A moist, powdery substance comes out that can be flattened and rolled like paper towels. These will be sliced into fresh noodles. There are lots of ingredients ready to be added to a bowl of garlic. Boil the noodles, add some whipped white stuff and put the noodles in it. Add veggies and other things. The brisket, chicken, and the whole egg season and it's ready to be served. The next establishment uses lots of red peppers to make their noodles. They grind it into flour, mix it up, and bag it. They add this powder to water and egg, then pour it into a bag and pack it up. Using yellow flour stuff coming out of a hose, a crumbly dough is made into rectangular slabs after being pressed with a long machine. Lots of veggies are chopped up. Oysters are added to water and rinsed. The guys in the kitchen cook this up. Throw in the veggies, and the noodles are made from the slabs. Boil that and add what was just cooked, as well as the liquid peppers, previously bagged. Pour on top of the noodles and serve with other toppings. The last restaurant makes lots of fried chicken by taking their chicken parts and mixing them with batter and orange and white flour. They place it into boiling oil and out comes fried chicken. They then add a peppery tomato sauce with spices and mix the smaller fried chicken in it. Some whitish topping is added to it and it's boxed and sent out for sale. In another place, they make banana bread with colorful banana mix and orange and white flour. The creamy dough is squeezed onto a grill by a machine. It passes through a flaming oven, and many loaves of banana cookie loaves are then rolled in a drum containing sugar. Workers then bag them, and they are ready to be packaged and sold. So what was your favorite dish today? Please let us know in the comments. And if you would like to watch more, please subscribe to the channel to be notified about when our next video is posted. Bon appetit!